Well, good morning all. Finally got cold enough around Michigan to do some cold weather testing. Today I'm going to work with a few different stoves I have and show you the pros and cons of each individual one. These were left outside overnight and it was 10 below zero this morning when we got up. It's not quite that cold right now. It is varying between 0.2 and 0.7 outdoors. So what we have is a Triangia with a small pot stand that I can also use as a preheater. We have an MSR Dragonfly, and I have a old style pump kit and a new style pump. Now one of the items with these pumps is I don't like to take them out of the cans. So I protect the pump. If I'm using a small bottle, I put it inside a tennis ball container and then snap the lid on. Right now I can't find the lid, but that's how I do that. In the large ones, this is a canned salmon can, which has a ridge around the edge right there that mates to the bottle right here. So when you push it on there, it'll only go on a short distance and it kind of locks on. And it makes a pretty nice, secure, don't break your pump off when you carry it type installation. Takes a bit of wiggling to get it off, and if you look closely you can see some contact in the side of the can, and that is from wiggling it as you take it on and off. So you need to be a little bit careful because the brass knob will contact. Now the reason I have two different pump assemblies is this is an old style pump, and I don't know if you can see it, but right below that brass knob there's a crack. So I recently ordered the new pump and have never tried the new pump. Now Shug had some issues with his new pump when he was just out. We're going to see if I can repeat it or compare it or whatever. Now the last stove that I'm going to work with is in this little can. This is, I found this while I was cleaning out the garage over at my father-in-law's, who passed away this last year. I'm going to try and set this camera down so I can set the stove up for you. Yeah, I hope this shows up. The stove has fold-out legs. It's model 1942 M50, I believe it is. An M50, or model M50, 1942 vintage. I believe he carried this across Europe with it. The pot stand has a stainless ring that you lift the wings up, and then you pull the ring down and put the wings on top of the ring. Has a built-in internal pump, which is right here. So we'll work with that last. I don't want to heat it up too much. But you notice I have silk glove liners on, wristies, and then I also have a pair of mittens. Now in the little bit of time I've been handling that stainless stove, my fingertips are cool. I would normally take that out of there with my glove mittens on, but being forgetful as most of us are, I've already chilled my fingers. In extreme cold it'll only take 5 minutes to give you frostbite, frost nip, and that's not a comfortable feeling. Had it before and it lasts with me for a long time. So I'm going to set up a little bit more and we're going to do some demos here. Well, I wanted to show you another item that I use a lot in the wintertime. This is a piece of jute cord. It's actually 3 strands of jute woven, just a 3-strand weave, and then it's been soaked in beeswax. So what I have effectively done here is created myself a match that will burn a long time. These are Diamond Strike Anywhere matches, the old-fashioned kind. They work pretty good, but you got to make sure you've got a really good tip on them. Some of the newer matches have very little fire starting tip on it. So I'll use these, but normally when you're lighting a Triangia, you need to either dip a needle or a piece of stick in it, light the alcohol on the stick, or you just stick a batch of matches down in it that are already lit. Or you can use something like this. I'm going to try and show you how this works. Okay, that's finally what you'll have after you get your match lit. The nice thing about this thing is you can lay it down someplace. It'll continue to burn while you get your stove ready. One of the keys with a Triangia is never fill this stove full. Always keep it down about to this groove down here, sometimes even a little lower. Don't get the cold fuel on your hands, causes immediate frostbite. And as you can see, I just ruined a set of gloves. That is why you always carry spares. Your match just keeps going, it doesn't matter. And sometimes take a bit to blow it out too. Okay, the stove has actually gone out again, so I'm going to dump some fuel off the sides and down into the bottom of this base. Many times in the winter when you bring a Triangia back from the field, you end up with a whole batch of matches in the bottom of it. You just clean them out. Okay, it is burning now with a match stuck down in it. The thing about the alcohol stoves is they took these on polar expeditions. They never fail. They may be difficult at times to light, and as I say, this one was outside at 10 below zero last night. The best advice is to keep it in a plastic bag and keep it inside your coat. They will always work when they're warm. But even at 10 below with a little bit of coaxing, you can get it to go. Okay, the next stove we're going to set up is this MSR Dragonfly. I keep this tube covered with a little neoprene plug just because. The board that I have for putting this stove on actually has a pair of rubber straps that will hold the bottle in place and also keeps the stove from sinking into the snow as you're using it to cook on. Today we're not going to do that. We're just going to make sure both the valves are closed, hooked her all up. About 20 pumps. Turn on the tank knob. Turn on the stove knob, and we're going to use some matches this time because it is warm enough for them to operate well. You notice the white gas fires off pretty good, even at 0 degrees. It's not too bad. You get down 20 below, even the white gas does not vaporize real well. The problem with most of the MSRs is they have a plastic pump cup in them. Well, it's rubber of some kind. But the rubber pump cups tend to not pump when they're really cold. Now you can, make the stove generate pressure, by heating the bottle, hold it in your hands, take it to bed with you, whatever. You can make some pressure that way. And as the priming fuel burns away, you turn on your burner. These stoves work pretty well. The weak link is that pump cup in there. It keeps them from operating all the time. And I never let mine fully burn out. I wait until it gets red flaming and blow it out, because I don't like all the carbon soot on the bottom of everything. So that's the MSR on the old pump. I've left the valve open for the burner because it's going to continue to run for a while. I'm probably going to get a little fuel out of here too. Not bad. Okay, MSR on the new pump. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there's the business end. Push and rotate slightly as you push that in there. Okay, there will be no priming basically this time because I believe the stove's warm. About 20 pumps. Turn the valve on here. Yes, we have vaporized fuel, so we have no liquid, so we'll just continue to light it. Pumps, which is more than most recommend for that can. I'll probably take both pump and can assemblies with me to the froze butt hang. That way I don't even have to worry about changing bottles. I'll just plug one on and then plug the other one on. Okay, here's a picture of the MSR mounted to the board. The nice thing about these boards, I just have a pair of bungee straps around the can, crossed in the back. But the nice thing about the board is when you build a snow kitchen or whatever to set your stuff on, your stove doesn't disappear down into the snow. It doesn't tip over with your pot on it, lose all your meal or your water. Of course, we'd have a windscreen around the thing to help conserve some more heat, but that's a handy little option to build. Everybody's got a little rubber cord sitting around, works real well. Okay, so the last stove we're going to play with today is this old U.S. Army stove here. This little knob right here is actually your cleaning knob. You would actually put it down to push the needle up into the jet to clean it. up as the run position. The little wire is lost in this one, so I've got to clean it with a little piece of tag wire if it needs it. There's a priming cup in here. A lot of the Svias are. So you put some fuel in your priming cup, and if it runs over, there's a secondary priming area down below. Sometimes you have to quite generously prime some of these stoves. Like I say, I found this summer and just went through and cleaned it up this last week or so. Figure I might just carry this one because it goes in that nice little small case, and kind of a tribute to my father-in-law. He saved the thing for over 50 years. I might as well get a little use out of it too. This has not used up all of its priming fuel yet. It still has a big bundle of it down in the bottom. These stoves are known for their flame ups. If you've been on Spirit Burner at all, they're quite a unique little setup. This was actually built by the Coleman Company. There's a lot of variations of these stoves, but they were certainly used and well appreciated by all the folks that carried them across the country. If we can get rid of all this priming fuel, we'll see what happens here. When they start to chuff like that, you know you've got a little bit too much pressure in the tank. And of course the wind is blowing right at me, so I'm getting a little benefit of the heat. But I kind of like this one, and I think this is probably the one I'm going to use the most this next couple of weeks. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show, and hope to see you outdoors camping somewhere.